Hello students and a very good morning. This is Farhan Bhutto and I'm here with another video about the tenses. So students, today I'll be talking about past progressive tense. So students, we use past progressive tense to talk about what somebody was doing at a certain time in the past. I hope you remember when we were doing this present progressive tense, I told you that in present progressive tense, we talk about something which is happening right now, at this time, at this moment. But in past progressive tense, we used to talk about what somebody was doing at a certain time in the past. The example is, the farmer was working at 6 o'clock yesterday. Okay, so this certain time in the past is also indicated here, and that is actually 6 o'clock yesterday. So what was the farmer doing at that particular time, at that certain time in the past at 6 o'clock? So the farmer was working at 6 o'clock yesterday. Let's have some more examples. Yesterday, I was eating at 2 o'clock. Again, see what is that a particular moment of time? That is at 2 o'clock. Okay, so what was I doing at 2 o'clock yesterday? Yesterday, I was eating at 2 o'clock. Yesterday, I was playing at 3 o'clock. Yesterday, I was watching TV in the night. Okay, so what is that a certain point of time? That is in the night. Okay. So the past progressive puts emphasis on an action in the past. So I started doing something, I was doing it, and I finished doing it. Okay, these three elements are important for past progressive tense. That you started doing something in past, you were doing it, and you actually finished doing it. Because if you did not finish doing it and you are still doing it, then it's not past progressive tense. Then it's going to be past perfect progressive tense. Okay, so I started doing something in the past, I was doing it, and then I finished doing it in the past, but now I'm already done with it. So the policeman was running after the dog yesterday. Okay, so the policeman started running after the dog, and he was running after the dog, and he finished running after the dog yesterday. The hairdresser was working in the afternoon. Okay, so as you can see here, that in past progressive, we have subject, and then we have got this auxiliary verb, was, and then ing form of the verb, and the rest of the sentence. Now your subject plus your auxiliary verb. Now your auxiliary verbs, there are two auxiliary verbs in past progressive tense, was and were. Okay, so with I we use was, with you we use were, with they we use were, with he, she, and one name we use was. And we always use ing form of verb in progressive tenses. So this ing form of the verb indicates that this is progressive tense, whether it is present progressive tense, past progressive tense, or future progressive tense. We always use ing form of verb. So how can we distinguish this present, past, and future progressive tense? We'll distinguish it from the auxiliary verbs. So in present, we have auxiliary verbs like is, am, are. So if we change it into present progressive tense, it's going to be the hairdresser is working in the afternoon. But if you change into past progressive, the hairdresser was working in the afternoon. But this ing form of the verb will remain same. Okay. The only thing which will be changed is our auxiliary verbs. So in present progressive, we have different auxiliary verbs. In past progressive, we'll have different progressive verbs, and future progressive, we'll have different progressive verbs like will be and shall be. So the hairdresser will be working in the afternoon. So in past, we have subject, and then we have auxiliary verb like was and were, and then we have ing form of verb. Now, before we move further, I'm going to tell you how to change it into negative interrogative. If you recall all the previous lectures, I've been telling you that whenever we have an auxiliary verb in a tense, it's very easy to change it into negative or interrogative. You remember the rule? If you got an auxiliary verb, just put not after the auxiliary verb and it becomes a negative, and put this auxiliary verb in the beginning of the sentence and it becomes the interrogative sentence. So if the positive sentence is the hairdresser was working in the afternoon, if you want to change it into negative, you'll say the hairdresser was not working in the afternoon. So here the hairdresser was working in the afternoon, the hairdresser was not working in the afternoon. And if you want to change it into indicative question, yes, no question, you put this was at the beginning of the sentence and it's going to be was the hairdresser working in the afternoon. So the hairdresser was working in the afternoon. The hairdresser was not working in the afternoon. Was the hairdresser working in the afternoon? Likewise, if we have one more sentence, I was playing soccer. I was not playing soccer. Was I playing soccer? And again, if you want to change it into interrogative question, having interrogative pronouns like when, where, why, you can put them all in the beginning before the auxiliary verb. So the hairdresser was working in the afternoon. The hairdresser was not working in the afternoon. Was the hairdresser working in the afternoon? And then why was the hairdresser working in the afternoon? Where was the hairdresser working in the afternoon? I hope you have understood how to change this past progressive tense into negative and then interrogative, both indicative questions, yes, no question, and interrogative questions. Now, do we use verbs ending in ing or ed? You remember in past simple, we changed the verb into ed if it was a regular verb. So do we use ing form of verb or ed form of verb? Of course. Remember the examples. I was doing my homework last night at 8 o'clock. So we'll not be using ed form of verb, means second or past form of the verb. That's going to be the past simple tense, and past progressive tense we'll be using ing form of verb. And keep in mind then that in all types of progressive tenses we'll be using ing form of verb. Okay, so play, playing, do, doing, go, going, come, coming. Okay, so we'll be using this ing form of verb in past progressive tense. Let's do some exercises in order to know whether we have understood it or not. Now turn the questions to past progressive examples. Did you have breakfast? For example, if you had breakfast at 8 o'clock, you can see this clock here, it's 8 o'clock. What were you doing? You were having breakfast. Okay, did you have breakfast? Yes, I was having breakfast at 8 o'clock this morning. Okay, so you're talking about a particular, you're talking about specific time in the past when you were doing something. So I was having breakfast at 8 o'clock this morning. Did you watch TV? Yes, I was watching TV yesterday in the night. Okay, so you have indicated, you have mentioned a particular time in the past when you were doing something. So in this case, you have used past progressive tense. I was watching TV yesterday in the night. Did you play soccer? As you can say, yes, you played. So how can you fill this blank? Yes, I was playing soccer in the morning. Did you do your homework? Yes, I do. Yes, I was doing my homework at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now put the verbs into the correct form in past progressive tense. So when I phoned my friends, what were they doing? See here, the friends were playing what? The friends were playing Monopoly. Okay. So when I phoned my friends, they were playing Monopoly. Okay. So you were talking about specific time in the past. Yesterday at 6, what was I doing? So yesterday at 6, I was preparing dinner. The kids play in the garden when it suddenly began to rain. So what were the kids doing? The kids were playing in the garden when it suddenly began to rain. So while Aaron was working in his room, his friends, what were his friends doing? His friends were swimming in the pool. Most of the time, we were sitting in the park. So I practiced the guitar when he came home. So what I was doing when he came home, I was practicing the guitar when he came home. We cycle all days. What were we doing all day? We were cycling all day. Okay, so that's our present progressive tense. I've told you where to use this past progressive tense. So in past progressive tense, something was happening at a particular moment of time in past. Okay, like I was playing cricket at 3 o'clock yesterday. Okay, and then I've also told you how to change this past progressive tense into negative and interrogative, and that's very easy. I have been repeating it, that whenever you have got an auxiliary verb in your tense, it's very easy. So just put not after the auxiliary verb, it becomes negative. Just put that auxiliary verb in the beginning of the sentence and it becomes an indicative question. And if you want to make an interrogative question, put these interrogative pronouns like when, where, at the before your indicative question. So like I was, you were, you were doing your homework yesterday. You were not doing your homework yesterday. Were you doing your homework yesterday? When were you doing your homework yesterday? Why were you doing your homework yesterday? So this was all about past progressive tense. I hope you've got the point. Please take care of yourself. See you till the next video.